In 2018, there were a plethora of new cars, and while all of them added to the options that is there today in the market, some of them actually stood out. AutoToday takes a look at the best cars and the SUVs that 2018 had in store.
"2018 has been quite an eye-opener for the Indian automotive industry. The year began with the Auto Expo stealing thunder and luring us with cars which would be launched over the course of the year. True to their promise, Indian automobile manufacturers launched an array of new metal over the course of 2018. Here then is a ready reckoner of the hot rods of 2018. Let's begin with four wheels then.
It's been a long time that the car came into the Indian market and it was starting to show its age. But now Maruti Suzuki has decided to give it a new lease of life. And this, my friends, is the new generation Maruti Suzuki Ertiga.
The Ertiga then is based on the brand new Heart-Ect platform, which underpins other modern Maruti Suzukis. It also looks a lot more mature now thanks to the new headlamps and the all-chrome grille. The Ertiga has also grown up in dimension and as a result promises a lot more space inside. Inside, the dash is all new and a touchscreen infotainment system has been added. Space is much better than before and ergonomics too have improved drastically. The new Ertiga is available with both the 1.5-litre petrol as seen in the new CS or the tried and tested 1.3-litre diesel. The petrol motor can be paired with a manual or automatic transmission. The new Ertiga drives better than before and we love the improved suspension which allows for excellent ride quality. All in all, the Ertiga is a deserving candidate on this list. Nearly 2 decades ago, Hyundai began their Indian innings with a small hatchback called the Santro. This little car eventually turned around the fortunes of Hyundai in India and made it a household name. Quite a bit of credit goes to one superstar, Shah Rukh Khan, as well.
For the past few months, Hyundai has been taking a lot of attention for this car. First it was the naming of the car, then it was a sketch and a plethora of activity. And finally they decided to call it the Santro. And they are hailing it as the legend is back. But is it the legend what it was? Is it as good as the car the real Santro was? And has it got anything to do with that Santro?
The Santro then looks and feels very different from the erstwhile model. The design is quirky and inside we like the fact that there are plenty of features to explore. Under the bonnet resides a 1.1-litre motor and then one can choose between a manual or AMT.
Now the engine is extremely smooth and ticks over at about 1200 RPM. When you get driving, it is also very quiet and vibe free. That is the most important thing. Vibrations are next to nil. The car we are driving comes with the AMT gearbox, which is again the first time for Hyundai. I am happy to report that they have made the best AMT as of now. The gearbox shifts at about 2000 RPM when you are driving sedately and it holds the revs according to your throttle inputs. So if you are in a sporty mood and you keep the throttle pinned down, it will shift only after 4000 RPM, and that is not while you are driving in manual mode. So it gives that boost. So when you want to overtake, you will have that power. It's not that between an overtake suddenly the car decides to change a gear, which is very unnerving. So quite simply, it's a very nice combination and we quite like the engine and gearbox combo in this new Santro.
Just a few months back, Lexus showcased the 7th generation ES 300h sedan at the Beijing Auto Show, and now close to the heels of the event, Lexus has made it available here in India. The new ES is based on Toyota's global architecture K platform. As a result, the ES is now 60 mm longer, 45 mm wider than the 6th generation model.
Now, Lexus has a very unique design philosophy, and it's more about sportiness as far as I am concerned. But as far as the performance is concerned, this car packs in a lot of punch. For example, these headlamps, they look nice, they have integrated daytime running lights out here, but they are adaptive types. So the moment if you are driving in high beam and there's an oncoming traffic, it will automatically switch to low beam. So that's a very nice feature, and it should be made mandatory in India. Apart from that, this chrome grille looks just beautiful. I just love the way Lexus takes care of this design element in this car. A nice bold badge in the front, and you know, it's unmistakably a Lexus the moment you see the car in your rear view mirrors. The dash looks really nice and unique, and you get this huge display which tells you all about your car's performance. Like, as you can see, this is a hybrid, so it's showing how much charge is going to the batteries and what the engine is doing right now. But if you want, you can come back to the main menu and operate using this toggle thing out here. It's like a touchpad. It's a very sensitive touchpad, so you can scroll on this and go to the required menu. There's a little EV button out here. Now, if you press this EV button, the batteries take over, and while you are creeping in traffic or things like that, or parking maybe, your car is driving on the battery. Now, this lasts for a very short while, but it's a very unique feature which helps make this hybrid a much more greener car as compared to the others. The ride quality is sublime when you are at slower speeds. However, the same soft suspension makes the car a bit wallowy when you are doing really high speeds. And by high speeds, I really mean high speeds, not like 80 or 90. It's above what you would normally drive. The steering at the same time is nice. It's very responsive. It gives you that ample feedback, and it's not very heavy at the same time. However, a little bit of jiggly wiggly on the steering wheel at high speeds, and you will feel the soft suspension and how it's different from a stiff suspension. So overall, I would rate this car really highly, and of course you get that exclusivity when you buy a Lexus.
This is the Lamborghini Urus.
Think Lamborghini, and chances are the first things that pop into your head are two-seater supercars with fire-breathing V10 and V12s under the hood. But what we have with us today is something very different.
It's got 4 seats, a massive boot, a V8 under the hood, and off-road capabilities. Sounds very practical then, doesn't it? But is it as mad as Lamborghinis usually are? The Urus is powered by a twin-turbo 4-litre V8 which develops a maximum power of 650 bhp and a peak torque of 850 Nm mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. All that power is put down via a 4-wheel drive system that features active torque vectoring.
For selecting drive modes, you have this switch over here which lets you toggle between Strada, which is your normal road-going mode. You can choose Corsa, which is the most extreme track mode. Then there's one for sand, for rough terrain, for snow. You get the aircraft-inspired engine start-stop switch, which is again typical Lamborghini and super cool. Then Ego is the one which lets you customize chassis settings, steering, and all those things according to your preferences. Over here, there's a digital setup for the air conditioning. You have a sort of a touch screen. It's got some feedback. You have to actually press it. It just doesn't respond to touch. You've got heated seat, cool seats, and all the works.
All this means the Urus, despite its curb weight of more than 2 tons, can scamper from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 3.6 seconds, making it one of the quickest production SUVs in existence. And not just that, as at 305 km per hour, it's also the highest top speed of any SUV.
The SsangYong brand name is not new to the Indian market. The South Korean car maker owned by Mahindra came to us with the 3rd generation Rexton. However, the SUV failed to make a strong impact owing to stiff competition from the likes of the Toyota Fortuner and the Ford Endeavour. For its 4th generation, Mahindra has adopted a very different approach. The car is now badged a Mahindra, comes with slight cosmetic updates and is called the Alturas G4.
The interior feels plush with a good mix of shades and materials. We quite like the tan upholstery and leather inlays adorning the dashboard. To give it an edge over its rivals, Mahindra has equipped the Rexton with some unique features, including memory seats, ventilated front seats, a 360-degree surround view, smart tailgate and 9 airbags. An 8-inch touchscreen acts as the interface for the infotainment system that supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's another screen that sits between the tachometer and speedometer that displays all sorts of information and supports various display themes. There is a strong initial surge in the engine, after which it settles down a bit, delivering power smoothly.
Powering the Mahindra Alturas G4 is a 2.2-litre diesel engine. It puts out around 178 bhp and 420 Nm of peak torque. Transmission duties are handled by a 7-speed automatic sourced from Mercedes-Benz. Fortifying its off-road credentials are shift on the fly 4x4 with 4 high and 4 low settings. Initial drive impressions suggest that the power and torque outputs are par for the course. The engine does its job pretty well without giving too much to complain about. There were instances when the gearbox felt a little dim-witted, but not a deal breaker in my book.
The suspension has been set up nicely and the car felt composed through corners as well as over rough patches of road. Also impressive were the overall refinement levels.
If you thought that cars and SUVs launched in 2018 were exciting, hold on to that excitement, because we are going to raise the bar with the best of the motorcycles and scooters from the year that is passing by. So here are the best two-wheelers of 2018.
These motorcycles are unlike any other Royal Enfield motorcycle ever produced. Say hello to the new Interceptor 650 and Continental GT 650. Two fresh off-the-mill motorcycles that use Royal Enfield's first modern-era 650cc parallel twin motor. The new 648cc fuel-injected air and oil-cooled parallel twin engine offers a modest 47 bhp and 52 Nm of torque, but Royal Enfields aren't about 0 to 100 timings. The engine develops 80% of its torque as low as 2500 RPM. That's just 1000 odd RPMs above its idling revs. Ring the throttle and the tacho needle won't shy to bounce off its 7500 RPM rev limiter. All thanks to the 4 volts per cylinder layout, helping the engine breathe more freely, while a 270-degree firing order makes for pure retro twin-cylinder symphony. Most of all, this new engine feels unlike any other RE engine. It is devoid of vibrations.
The Interceptor 650 is of course a brand new motorcycle, but the Continental GT is what we've already seen before. Now a few years back we did get the 535cc single-cylinder Continental GT, but this new motorcycle, which is the Continental GT 650, of course comes with the brand new engine, which is the parallel twin 650cc motor, and that seems like just the right ingredient that was missing from the first bike to make it a proper cafe racer.
Both the Interceptor and the Continental GT 650 come across as a solid upgrade in Royal Enfield's engineering capabilities. From great bite and feedback that the 320mm front and 240mm rear disc brakes offer, to the grippy Pirelli Phantom Sportcom tyres shod on spoked aluminium alloy wheels, to even the top quality paint finish, these new Royal Enfields have stepped the game up. Suzuki Motorcycles, with its latest launch, is aiming at offering you the key to your next adventure. The liquid-cooled 90-degree V-twin motor is smooth and unlike the gruff European V-twin. The smoothness, however, hides the oodles of low-end grunt that this motor has to offer. It's just what you need to keep the pace up on the roads and sideways of it.
Most Japanese motorcycle manufacturers are known for their smooth inline-4 motors, but for off-road use what you need is torque, and that comes from a V-twin engine. This 650cc V-twin is smooth but develops a lot of torque at the bottom end of its rev range, and you also have the safety net of traction control.
The XT tag on the V-Storm brings an 19-inch front and 17-inch rear spoke wheels by DID that offer the convenience of using tubeless tires due to their unique design. Dual-purpose Bridgestone tires cope up with their intended purpose well on varied surface. V-Storm 650 XT is well prepared for a long haul straight out of the showroom. Considering the equipment and electronics package coupled with a smooth yet torquey V-twin motor nestled in a well-handling go-anywhere motorcycle, the 7,46,000 rupee ex-showroom price tag doesn't seem to be much of an asking price. The first generation R15 sprouted a new wave of enthusiasts. The second one made them look good. The version 3.0 of the new R15 promises to dial it up to 11. The R1, however, may not be attainable for many, and there comes the need to make an entry-level sports bike a spitting image of their liter class counterparts. From the fins on the tank to the split LED headlamps separated by an air intake to the tail section, every bit of the new R15 borrows styling cues from the R1 and R6 super sports bike. Quite naturally then, the new R15 looks stellar, and the racy styling makes it look fast even while standing. The engine has grown in capacity from 150 to 155 cc thanks to the changes in the internal design of the engine. Yamaha has also introduced variable valve timing, a first for a motorcycle in India. As a result, power has been bumped up by 16.3% than before. The engine has a lot of go, and the rapid pace didn't even warrant the use of the 6th gear. Throttle response is sharp, while the rev limiter cuts off at 11,500 RPM. The new R15 is even equipped with a slipper clutch to aid aggressive downshifts and rear wheel hop. It has to be mentioned that the engine and the gearbox has the smoothness that's second to none in its segment. The handful of flaps around the Chennai track left us yearning for more, but it was enough for us to ascertain that the version 3 of the R15 is a proper step forward from the previous generation motorcycles. This is TVS' first 125cc offering, and the Hosur-based manufacturer comes out all guns blazing for an up-to-date contender. The need of the hour is clearly convenience, and TVS has an extensive list of features to cater to that need. From the spacious under-seat storage equipped with a light for illumination to the external fuel filter cap that doesn't necessitate the rider to open the seat, to an engine kill switch for conveniently switching off the engine at stoplights. The N-Torque is also one of the few scooters offering a pass switch. But the most outstanding feature comes in the form of a fully digital meter console showing a plethora of information. What's more is that the rider can pair their phone via Bluetooth and get a display of the navigation on screen and get caller information as well. The 124.8cc engine has been dubbed CVTi Rev and packs enough punch from the get-go, showing that a good chunk of torque is available for the rider right from the start. Acceleration is smooth. With the 3-valve engine, the N-Torque steadily builds up its power through the rev range. The N-Torque finds a sweet spot with a mix of performance, handling, and most of all, it features conveniences that are first in its class and at the same time future ready. To top it all, the 58,750 rupee ex-showroom price tag really leaves nothing more to be desired.